Dagothar welcomes you, my sweet persistent friend. Hello and good Wednesday evening to everybody. How are you? It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you, or swamp if you're not from Louisiana. I, of course, am Bill Sylvie, the one and only, the Dungeon Delver. How are you guys? It's Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday all day. Zachary Melvin right out of the gate with a question for us. But before I get to that question, let me ask you a favor. Let me ask you to do something. And this has kind of become an important thing. Do me a favor, if you would, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications to find out about when I'm doing my shows, my videos, that kind of thing. Thank you, Zach. I'm rather fond of this wizard hat. I was cruising through Moria and I found this floating down in a lake really far down in the bottom. Dried it out, had it blocked and cleaned. I don't know how it got there. It's too big for a dwarf's head, so I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, Mr. Dune Trader, good to see you. How are you? Damien X247, Bob Schultz, Robert Phillips with the question quote of the day, Prehensile Nips. And of course, Wave of Mutilation. Bards of Greyhawk reminds us that one does not simply cruise through Moria. You do when you're me, baby. I'm all class. But anyway, yes, please subscribe to the video. If you're watching this after the fact and you like the video, give it a thumbs up. You can give it a thumbs up right now if you want. But if you're watching it after the fact, leave a comment down below and tell me what you think. You can't do that now. Comments are off. You got to talk in the live chat. But anyway, yeah. Welcome to the show. If you don't know what it is that we do here, 5 nights a week, guys, 5 nights a week, I like to have little live streams, a little fun broadcast time that I can spend with you guys where we can talk about D&D, any other tabletop RPG, events we've got coming up, personal appearances I might be doing, stuff that's on your mind, You can ask me a question. You can ask me to give you a shout out. Like, for example, a shout out to Elven Maiden Inn. Young lady, you keep on keeping on. You keep on getting better. I know you're sleepy time right now, but you'll be awake soon enough. And I want you to focus on coming back to us all together. Shout out to Elven Maiden Inn. Jorge Uribe, good to see you. But that's what we do. Yeah, Bards of Greyhawk is in here. That is what we do. We hang out, we hang around, we have a good time. Sometimes I have great guests on. Sometimes we play tabletop RPGs. Sometimes we do deep dives on classic material. And sometimes we just have a good time. And I'm feeling like tonight is one of those. Tonka Todd, hello, how are you? But anyway, I want to get back up here. I should have pinned this. Zachary Melvin says, am I going to review D&D 5.E starter set? It has updated Keep on the Borderlands as one of the advancers. Oh, adventures. I'm sorry, adventures. I thought for a second you were asking, are you getting an advanced copy or something? I would like to see what they do with it. I've already seen a picture of it, and rather than use the iconic Jim Rosloff art, it already has a variant cover that I'm not crazy about. Not that they gave it a variant cover, that they I just don't like the art itself. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Um, and I don't know. I don't know. I'll say this: given my budget, uh, I would very, very much have to say that I would have to get it like as a gift to the show before I would review it. Oh, Bards of Greyhawk. Wow. Thank you guys so much. Officially thanking the Dungeon Delver on the liner notes of our upcoming third album. Now, let me tell you guys, if you don't know who we're talking about here, maybe you've just come by. Those absolutely incredible guitar licks that you hear at the beginning of this live stream, that is but a thin slice of a track that they made for the show. It's called Summer Mountains, and it's pretty dang awesome if I do say so myself. And I have always loved it. It is in my classic mellow rock playlist on my Android phone. Um, and I can't thank them enough for it. So when Bards of Greyhawk, when you guys are ready to go, I want you to reach out to me, and we're going to have you back on, and we're going to talk about you guys, your music, everything wonderful. FMCS Recon, good to see you. Speaking of thanks and credits and that sort of thing, I'm a little behind on the end of the live stream credits. And speaking of music, of course, you guys get, Bob Antone's wonderful Owl Bear on the outro. I like to put up all of my patrons' names there in the outro, and YouTube subscribers, or YouTube members rather, subscribers, we would be here. I'd have to loop that thing like 285 times or something to get all those people. But anyway, my YouTube membership holders, it requires some updating. Some folks have come off of membership. This is the international sign for coming off of membership. But more importantly is people have joined us on Patreon. People have joined us as YouTube members. So I need to update that. So if you're watching, oh boy, I know he does this, I can't wait to see my name, and you've recently, I promise you, it's not tonight, but it will be soon. It will be soon. So please bear with me. Bear with me. And I gotta be honest. This is something I've actually mentioned on the show before. I wish that I had the kind of scratch, absolutely no pun intended, to put together a Delver's Dungeon EP. Because here's what I would do. Here's what I would do. I would like to do. I mean, like, wish, when I say I would like to do a vinyl EP with everyone's permission. Like, that would be first. I would go to them and say, hey, can I do this? The clean, by which I just mean the nice and simple Owl Bear rendition that you guys hear. Summer Mountains in its entirety, and the long form blues folk jam version of Owl Bear, the live one that Bob did with the entirety of Tinkham Road, and of which Bob is a member, playing that song. So like a 3-song EP on vinyl with like an adventure module in it, like packed in as an adventure module. I would like to do something like that. The problem is there's like 2 companies in the West that will do bespoke vinyl, and boy, howdy, do they want a lot of money. Yeah, it's expensive. It is not cheap. So yeah, that is if I hit the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there would be signs. And it would be that I just like out of the blue was like, hey, up, here you go. Here I'm the Delver's Dungeon EP with Owl Bear remix and Summer Mountains. And then, I'd give royalties, huge amounts of royalties to the creators of the songs. But yeah. I first looked into that. I'm like, well, how expensive could this be? I could scrape together a couple hundred. Oh, minimum order of like 1,500 pieces at like $6 a piece or something like that. It was, woof. I would buy a hot rod Saturn. Yes, I would actually. That would be a fun car to have in a collection because it was one of the last Saturns ever made. I would buy a Saturn Sky, a low mile Saturn Sky, and I would restore it to as near 0 miles as I could get it. The Saturn Sky is a bit like the Studebaker Avanti, which, if you don't know what a Studebaker Avanti is, Studebaker was one of those other car companies from like the 1920s onward. They actually lasted into the 50s or 60s, and they produced a pretty darn futuristic sports car, the Avanti. And it was really slick, but it was not enough to save the company. It came out right at the tail end, much as the Sky did for Saturn. To quote the man, and man, that was all she wrote. Our Saturn, other than desperately needing to be washed, and it needs a battery because it's moribund otherwise, physically is in great shape. It's got like a little dime-sized spot of rust on the hood that I need to touch up. But there's no scrapes, dents, busted in bumpers or anything. When you order your vinyl from Wish. But anyhow, yeah, I wish I could just put out an EP, and just give tons of money to Bob and to the Bards of Greyhawk for it. But hey, maybe someday, right? Maybe someday. Anyway, moving right along. So I got some great news today. I think I had mentioned this before, but if I didn't, I'm mentioning it now. James F. Keck. That's right. Jamf himself will be running a couple of games at the GWOC, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention that we are holding right on Discord. Now, I've been mentioning this a few times, and I apologize for not kind of updating this. But I'm not just going to be running 3 board games. I will be running TTRPG, and of course it is. Let me see. I'm sorry, I'm getting a message here. Bear with me just a sec. This is I tell people, look, I'm here on the dang on the show. So let's see. All right, but anyway, I will be running an RPG. It is the Greek mythological RPG, and you guys know about it. We had the creator on. We had an absolutely fantastic live stream with those folks. Well, with one of the folks from over there. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of that. I like it because it has race and class restrictions. And I'm really excited about that. Wave of Mutilation has jelly in his trousers. I don't know if that's a metaphor for something, or if you just felt it necessary to mention your current physical condition. But so the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention is a convention that will cost you, that's right, you, I am talking to you. It will cost you $0. That's right, $0 to attend. However, your travel cost may be as much as, or possibly less than, $0. Your accommodations will be whatever it cost you for a few days to live in your house. The only thing you've got to do is show up and play a game or run a game. That's it. It's free. And so I'm excited about it, and I hope you guys are too. When is the guac? We know where it is. We know how much it is. Where is the guac? It is on Discord. That's right. And I'm going to share the invite for you guys to the guac. Let's go to the guac. That's right. Immortals. I click this invite you guys. Oh, it's doing that thing again because it thinks I may dox people. All right. Now let's do it. Now let's invite people. Now let's copy that. Orbital Air, good to see you. So there you go. If you guys head over there, the system for setting up and running a game, Mr. Doomsword Deathmaster himself got us a sign-up bot installed for creating games and for signing up to play those games. Now, let me tell you something. If you sign up for the Discord and if you want to play, you have nothing else to do. If you signed on to the Discord and you want to run a game, let me know so I can turn on Game Master status for you. And that's how we'll do it. Orbital Air is working on his Weird West one-shot and then the sci-fi one-shot. That's awesome, Orbital Air. That sounds great. So I hope that you will stop by, sign up for playing games or for running games, and you should be good to go. I think you will have a lot of fun at the guac. It's always been pretty popular. Stuff that is coming up. March the 18th. March the 18th. Which I believe, I got to double check this. The 18th is a Tuesday. The 18th is a Tuesday. March the 18th, I celebrate my 5th year of doing live streams. 5th year. 5 years of the Delver's Dungeon. Now, I set up a YouTube Yes, that's what I mean. I thought my brain said you said Google. Correct yourself. I set up a YouTube account in 2014. I kind of made some stabs over the ensuing years at doing YouTube videos. And it wasn't until human malware hit that I really started the streaming heavily, but not on YouTube. I started streaming over on Facebook. So what does that got to do with the price of tea in China? Anyone who is interested in my old live streams, pre-YouTube, with the exception of interviews with friends, interviews with creators, interviews with TSR luminaries, most of my interviews with Jim Ward were on Facebook. Or a couple of them were. I interviewed the artist Darlene. Hello, Joe Kaufman. I interviewed who else did I interview? I interviewed Lance Hovermail. I interviewed my buddy Lance Hovermail. It was shambolic. It was a hot mess, but we made it work. Rob Schwalb. I interviewed Rob Schwalb. I almost forgot. I interviewed Rob Schwalb. He wrote A Song of Fire and Ice, TTRPG. Did you know that? Rob also wrote Shadow of the Demon Lord, which I think he still works on to this day. That's his baby. Good guy, Rob Schwalb. But I got a notification from Facebook. In July, they are going to delete all live stream videos more than 30 days old. They will be removed. They will be lost to the sands of time. I have no alternative but to pull all that stuff down, which, granted, I can do with relative ease. I have a pretty good bandwidth package. But I got to pull those videos down. I will see which interviews I did over there and then re-upload them here to YouTube. And then that's it. Let me tell you a little bit about my history with streaming on Facebook. I used to dual stream the show to Facebook. And that is where Facebook is where I started streaming. Right around this time in 2025 or 2020, we all know what happened about 5 years ago. It's like the San Andreas fault of the 21st century's timeline is right there. Crack. Although there are others also. So I had a lot of friends, people who didn't have any other social things that they liked to do other than hanging out at the comic and game shop and going over to friends' houses and playing D&D and then work. I'm not going to get in somebody's grill and tell them to touch grass. And I saw a lot of people started talking about this is it. Don't know how long this is going to last. I'm shutting my house. I'm losing everything. And I said, I had one little webcam. Is it 10? No, it's not. I had one little webcam. And I had my blue snowball microphone. I had uploaded some YouTube videos. And then I saw a thing where you could go live on Facebook. So I started sitting and talking to my friends. I started sitting and talking to my friends on Facebook. Because a lot of people back in 2020, no idea how to game in a virtual sense. At that point, I'd been doing remote VTT stuff for 6 years. We had it down to a science. And I tried to impart that to people. I tried to bring people some hope, some happiness. I started out by sharing stuff, doing D&D Antiques Roadshow, showing off classic TTRPG books, explaining to them that all you need to game online is something as simple as a good smartphone. You don't need this. You don't need cameras pointed at Dwarven Forge. You don't need fancy software. You just need a fairly decent way to connect to the internet. And I talked to people. Some days I'd get excited because I've had 6, 7, 8 people watching me at once. Some days nobody, but folks will go back and watch later. The live comment system sucks because I couldn't see it. Some of the time, sometimes I could, depending on how people were commenting. Still never been able to figure that son of a bitch out. But I did it because people were hurting and people were alone. And they felt alone and they felt trapped and they felt shut in. And then I realized I could do it on YouTube too. And I could stream to both places. This is even before I had the awesome music from our friends over Bards of Greyhawk, from Bob Antone. I would just turn it on at the appointed time, usually fairly early in the day. You guys would get streams from me early in the day. And I just kept on keeping on. And the fact that I could be on YouTube and on Facebook, and then I discovered this thing of StreamYard, and you know, it had dual streaming. I didn't have to worry about having a beast of a PC and balancing bandwidth loads to multiple places, and I could have guests on. And so it went. And so it went. But something funny happened. I got a message from Facebook one day, and Facebook said, hey, listen up, big man. You have copyrighted music in this video. The clip lasts for 1 second at this timestamp. I went to that video, I zipped up to that timestamp, and it's just me talking. Their auto content detection system heard me saying something and decided that was music from a song. I wasn't humming, I wasn't singing. I think I may have moved my mic stand. And at the time, my mic stand was a flexible lamp stand. Which, I'll tell you something right now, that's all this is. If you guys have bought a flexible desk lamp that clamps onto the side of a desk at any point in the last, well, at least 40 years, because that's how old that desk lamp is, then congratulations, you've got one of these. It's just there's no lamp on it. So I said, what do? There was a, oh, you can leave a comment for us. And I said, hey, you got to give me some more insight about what content violation this is. And they never did. Now, I liked talking to people on Facebook, and I certainly didn't want to get my account suspended for repeated content violations. So it was at that point that I made the decision to stop streaming on Facebook. Now, I recently tried to go back to streaming on Facebook, and I forgot what a royal pain in the ass it is. Namely, nowadays, Facebook live streams only work if you invite people. You can't just switch them on for the whole world to see. So I quit doing that after a couple of attempts. You can turn it on after the fact. People can see it after you stream it. But you have to specifically invite people in. You can't just make it front facing. Yeah, but Jorge, they stepped out one night just to see if they could get lucky, and it worked out for them. So I said, no. Until or unless I can figure something out, that's fine. A couple of days ago, I get an email from Facebook, and Facebook says, hey, anything you've got in the old you streamed a video bank is going away in July. So a year and change worth of almost daily videos, possibly even more. I'll have to go and look. Daily video live streams. My first live stream all the way to the last attempt that I made will be purged from Facebook. So I will be downloading them. I'm not going to share them. I just think they're important to me. The interviews, I'll probably pick through, find the interviews, and share them. But the number of interactions I like having on Facebook has diminished to the point of getting instant messages from people, and the guest page for EggCon, which I have been invited to as a guest of honor in July. And when that's over, I will have a ridiculously small region. Facebook today, when I got that email, well, I didn't get it today. I get it yesterday, whenever I got it in the last couple of days, has basically entered into the twilight of MySpace. I will not be interacting with people on Facebook anymore after July. I will share my video links there. I won't post to people. I simply have no reason to at that point. It is essentially a dead end. It's where your really racist uncle shares terrible political memes, is Facebook at this point. So I'm done with it. You take that back. You take that back, Ishahay. So there. No, I gotta do this properly. Let me see here. Bear with me. And let's that'll work. All right, here we go. This is for Isha. So let me tell you what we did. There we are. We're at Consec. You know, and I'm basically hacking everything. I've hacked the flush sensors in the men's room toilet. You know, I've rerouted those, so you know our signal is bouncing off of ComSats back to where we want. So here we are. Here we are, right here. And this is us. We're over in room A. And so, you know, we've got a choice here. You know, we've got a choice here. This is the correct one. And then we've got the incorrect one right here. We'll call that B. And then we've got another incorrect one right here. And this one is called C. All right. So let me tell you what you do. Let me tell you what you do. So, you know, you got your possible paths here, here, and here. So here's what you do. Don't choose this one. And don't choose this one. So you choose A. And then that's the right thing to do. And then, you know, that's correct. And that's just, it's that simple. That's how you do it. There you go. Yeah, I should have had like a scrolling wall of like 100 individual commands and bits of code instead of having them nested cleanly. Just like 6,000 individual function calls, and called myself, you know, a hacker. Anyway, speaking of coming up on, if I'm supposed to have a map up, I just had MS Paint up. I was just doing the whole, you know, MS Paint thing. But speaking of anniversary of show coming up, I got to tell you, this guy right here, that if this live stream has anything that can be said to be the very first subscriber, it's this guy right here. Al Goli. I'm not kidding you. Like, I mean, I don't mean first, like, YouTube live stream viewer, whatever. This guy here joined in 2014. Like, I put up a YouTube channel. I announced on social media, which at the time I think was just Facebook, or maybe Dragon's Foot. I don't know. I said, hey, I'm on YouTube. Here's my YouTube channel. You have 1 subscriber. Al Goli puts a comment. He was here before there were here. You know, it's like you pull up with all your construction material, you're getting ready to break ground, and there's a guy who's built a tent, and you're like, hey, why are you here? I'm waiting for it to be built. Just build it around me. And we did. The OG. That's right. Holy crap, that's right. Al Goli was, I used to try and run my own web forum. Isha, hey, can you hear this okay, or do you need me to drop my voice by like 8 octaves? And then act like incredibly smug. No, I had in a few different places, I had a PHP BB3 forum. I tried that a few times. Once I moved it from, because Steve, God rest his soul, over at Dragon's Foot, let me have a little section off his server and then just spun up my domain name so it would resolve to that. No, I absolutely think that Jason Thorhall is he's so smug he's almost collapsed up his own butthole. But anyway, Yeah, that's correct, Jorge. He was the man who was already waiting there when the Enterprise was going where no man had gone before. That's right. They got there and he was like, "Where have you been?" Um, but yeah, I set up a PHP bulletin board on uh first on Dragon's Foot, then on my own domain, thedelversdungeon.com. Don't go there anymore. Someone stole it out from under me. It belongs to a Chinese bot farm for spamware, fake video games. Has nothing to do with me. But I ran a pretty successful forum for a couple of years, and then there was a database error, and my database was intact, but it basically got detached. And my buddy Jerry, God rest his soul, jumped in to help me figure out how I could possibly reattach it. But the fact that I still had it and was able to start a new forum, because back then, let me tell you what, if you're on social media and you go and you delete an account, let's say you've got 7,000 people following you on Twitter, which is not bad. Oh, I remember that absolutely Looney Tunes guy. I got to tell this story. I'm gonna sticker that. I'm gonna come back to that. Yes, all forum games fall apart. All all structural formal TTRPGs fall apart when you go on forums. But my I was talking about web forums. Yeah, so basically I took the old one and I archived it. It was readable, and then I started a new one. But what happens when you do that and you're off the air for a little while, people drift away. You can start building up a good head of steam. I've got 75 subscribers. I've got 80 or 100 subscribers. I've got 200, 300 subscribers, and you're getting good foot traffic. And then when it goes down for more than a day or two and it comes back and you're like, could you guys please resubscribe? It's not going to come back. If you go and you delete you got 7,000 followers on Twitter, which is a really good count of followers. By the way, that puts you in the top 1.5% of Twitter accounts in terms of followers, having at least like 4,500. That's when I looked at my metrics and it said, yeah, you're in the top 1.5%. 98.5% of people on Twitter have just way fewer followers than that. Once you get into that rarefied air. But anyway, so I lost my bulletin board. I lost my bulletin board a second time. The third time when it went down, I just stopped bothering. I just quit bothering. I let my front page go fallow, and I sat around wondering what to do with what I had. And it kind of brought me here. But the story that Al brings up, my forums were awesome. Some folks played online Twilight 2000, and I followed it until they had an argument and it fell apart. Nobody argued except one guy from another Twilight 2000 forum. Basically what I said was that a mortar round landed close. Vehicle combat in Twilight 2000, particularly when you start talking about indirect fire, mortars, artillery, grenade launchers, guided rockets. Well, I guess that goes under artillery. It's really weird and it's really sticky, and landing a mortar round directly on someone or near enough to do them damage can be kind of a strange thing. Yes, that's right. I rolled 100%. I rolled 100% on it. And the guy riding in the armored personnel carrier, I did not describe the vehicle as taking systems damage. I said, you hear a blang slap as heavy shrapnel slams into the side of the track. You can feel like cool air through punctures in the thin M113 hole. He freaked out. He went full on shrieking, throwing myself on the floor of the mall concourse, kicking his feet. And people were like telling him, "Lol, calm down." And he argued with everybody. And I had a couple of people leave, just be like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not wasting my time with this. It's a shame. It was a good game." Stuart Marshall, the guy that created Osric with Matt Finch, Stuart was in that game. And Stuart just private messaged me and was like, "I'm not really going to sit here and take this guy's abuse." And this happened in the space of like me being gone away. I came back and had lost 3 of the 5 players playing. And then back on the Twilight 2000 forum that this guy had hailed from, he bitched about my game and how the other players had ruined the game. John Peck, hello. Please check out my friend's game that just launched. Well, John, I don't have any links, buddy. Because he got hit. Yeah, because their vehicle got hit. I didn't even hit the vehicle. I hit it and for effects purposes described how the vehicle had gotten peppered with shrapnel. And he immediately jumped to the conclusion that I had wrecked their vehicle. So yeah, it was pretty harsh, and they left, and it really took the air out of the forum for a little while, but I kept it going, and then I don't know, I got distracted by something shiny. I think that was in 2011 or 2012, 2013 maybe. My buddy Eric passed away in 2015, and it just took the sales out of it. Every day going there and seeing his occasional post was like, it made me happy, but it made me very sad at the same time. And I let it sit for a while. And the few people that were still posting there were not posting that often anymore. But despite my best attempts, I had 28,000 subscribers that were all just spam bots. But because you have to manually activate accounts on PHPBB. You flip a switch and it stops bots from it. The way it used to be, if you went in and you uploaded PHPBB and you turned it on, literally the second you turned it on, you could watch subscriptions to your web forum just but it's all bots. It was all malware bots. So yeah, the last time I went back in, I had tens of thousands of bot subscription. I was just like, delete. I didn't even leave it up for people to look at in archival sense anymore. Somewhere burned on a DVD, I may have the few hundred kilobytes or a few hundred megabytes of the PHP files, the text files that make up PHPBB boards. I may have them archived somewhere, but I'm not going to bother with them. Frank, yeah, John, you can't post links. I have one of those, David. I have a 3.5 inch to disk drive to USB plug. Frank Menser joined the very first one I had when it was hosted on Dragon's Foot. And I kept it very simple. I said, well, here's a forum for OD&D. Here's a forum for AD&D. Here's our general talk forum because you guys are going to general talk. And so, do we know each other, John? I mean, in the sense of, have we talked on social media before? Um, so I I had a very specific, narrow thing that I wanted to focus on. I wanted to focus on first edition AD&D. And D. I was excited when Frank came in and made an account and started posting. And someone from Dragon's Foot came over and said, I want to talk about playing your campaign worlds, Frank, in Hackmaster 4E. I don't like Hackmaster 4E. The joke is funny for about 2 minutes. And Hackmaster had a massive forum already on Dragon's Foot. Hackmaster was riding tall in the saddle at the time. And so I said very politely, hey guys, plenty of Hackmaster 4 out there. Could we talk about this in an AD&D context? Let's keep focused. And Frank threw a snit. He got very upset that I was daring to question the awesomeness of Aquaria's applicability to other rule sets. And it's not it's not your place to advertise Aquaria, Frank. It wasn't, but I was cool with it because I knew it had started in AD&D, and at the time I knew I knew that you, like, he's listening, he's not. I knew that he was friends with Gary, but he blew a head gasket when I said, get the Hackmaster talk out of here. There's places to talk about. I don't come on my live stream and talk about Vampire the Masquerade, the New Blood, or whatever it's called. I don't come on my live stream and talk about 6th edition D&D because I don't care about it. I don't like it. I don't make videos about it. I'm not going to review a 6e D&D thing. That's not what I do. It's not the place for it. Yeah, Isha, then they got all huffy. I thought I was pretty polite about it, actually, all things being equal. I didn't even see you posting over on Twitter, John, in the comments section. I'm sorry, I just glanced over there. Exactly! Not your echo. Bringing the correct stuff. We're here to talk about Dwarven magic users, damn it. I've just accepted it at this point. We're in it now, up to our pecs. But anyway, yeah. So it's been it's been an interesting time on social media. Like I said, started out on my own. My first website goes all the way back to like 2000, 2001, the Delver's Dungeon. It was cfl.rr.com/tilde the Delver's Done .htm. And I had 3 megabytes of space to post up articles about Dungeons and Dragons, and I did that like weekly. And it got me into it got me into talking about, I mean, Gary didn't know me from Adam. I was like, let me interview you. And Gary, being Gary, was like, okay. As many pauses as I put, it probably sounds like a completely normal conversation, Bob. If I'm being completely honest with you. But yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna ask Gary if he'll let me interview him, and you guys can hear the Gygax interview. That's here on my YouTube channel. But I remember that the first winter that my daughter was born, I had a fellow reach out to me, Red Rom. Yes, that's his name, Rahm. Red Rom sent me an email and said, "Hey, I really like your webpage. Would you come and write for me? It's not much." And that's how I got started writing TTRPG stuff for pay. And then Lance Hovermail, who nattered me ceaselessly, he was like, "Come and write a module for me." I'm not writing no damn third edition module. It doesn't matter what you write, just write the module. And I was like, "I'm not writing third edition. You can write whatever you want. It'll just get published under third edition." I'm not writing third edition. It was like that bit with John Pinette about the TV warranty. So back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. That GeoCities web ring, yes. It was sad about Ernie's passing, John. It was really really sad. Um. Anyway, John, I want to because you had asked in this chat and you had asked in that chat. Shoot me a PM over on Twitter, and we'll come back around to it. We'll talk about your thing. Um, the that you want to promote. But anyway, so yeah, Lance hounded me until I finally wrote Elemental Moon, and it was because I had written Elemental Moon that I stuck my hand up when Gary said, "I would like people to volunteer to work on my to work on these town section modules for me." So I was like, "Yes, me, please let me." And I wrote 5 of those. I wrote Teeth of the Barkesh Nor. None of it ever got published except for a little piece of Teeth of the Barkesh Nor, which of course is The Lost Crypt. But I did it just the same. I feel like Quint giving the Indianapolis speech. We delivered the module, the Gygax module. But yeah, that's just how the door opened, man. Me being out there on the internet and bugging people. Who haven't Bob Schultz, who haven't I interviewed that I really want to interview? Can't use a time machine, can't bend reality to do it. Who haven't I interviewed that I really want to interview? I really want to interview Larry Elmore. I really want to interview Jeff Easley. I really want to interview um, uh, uh, Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. I really want to interview who is it? I really want to interview Matt Rhodes, who did Tellurion and is an amazing artist. I really want to interview Matt. I want to interview who else? Uh, I would love to interview. There are some small creators from back, like Greg Bell. Greg Bell, who did OD&D art. I would love to talk to Greg Bell. Um, Even if it was just like a 10-minute section, like, "Hey, we got this person calling in." Deb Larson, who did the cover of Supplement 3, Eldritch Wizardry. I would love to speak to Deb Larson, because I don't think some of the early ladies of TSR get nearly enough love. I would like to talk to Gary's first wife, Mary. Um, uh, because believe it or not, she did edit D&D, the monster manual, the wonderfully put together monster manual. That was Mary Jo Gustafson. That was Mary Jo Gygax back then. That was her name. Um, and there's a lot of people from back then. Rose Estes. I interviewed Rose Estes. She was on the show. Oh, Ishahay, you got to turn me down. Oh man, man. Yeah. I mean, I'm literally like there's so many people, so many people. Did I ever participate in a play by post as a game master? Twilight 2000. We were talking about it earlier. And that's just scratching the surface. Give me a time machine, but say it's only TSR people or only TTRPG people. Oh my God. I would have had Jerry on this show in a heartbeat. I would have made Jerry my co host. Jerry Mapes was the founder of Knights and Knaves, which was where great minds came together to create Osric. God rest you, Jerry. Eric Peterson, same. Um, oh, I'm sorry you're feeling bad, Wave. Yeah, yeah. Jerry's loss was really a shame. Yes, I've had Rob Kuntz on the show before, but anyway, yeah, I did Twilight 2000 play by post. It was a disaster. Let's see. Yeah, I wish you could make it for another interview or make it for an interview. Hey, one of these days, right? You and Blues Traveler, man, it's next to impossible to get you guys on. Um, I played for a little while in a classic Star Trek, classic Star Trek, classic Star Trek. If you say it 3 times, sometimes Jack Photon appears. So I just wanted to try it. Um, in a play by post, but it just kind of petered out. A lot of people stopped posting, and then the game master kind of wandered off. And I messaged the game master. I said, "Hey, I've got it. I know I'm a player character. I'm not trying to get main character syndrome. Could we get let me?" And I suggested. I said, "Here is a plot seed, a story seed, an adventure seed, a hook. Let me throw it out there. You take this and run with it." And he was like, "Oh, that's really cool. Yeah." And I said, "Yeah, now I'm just going to step back. I'm not running the game. Here's the seed. Whatever it does next, you go with it." And he was like, "Yeah." And then just crickets. Nobody else ever posted again. So play by posts or, you know. Yeah, you get that a lot too. Oh, wow, that's if you post. What? Vile Necromancer. My son. Hello, Vile Necromancer. It's good to see you, my friend. It has been almost exactly 2 years since we first ran into each other. That is a welcome face to see around these parts. Skeletal or no, please, you must tell us how you are doing. Yeah, I attend exactly. By the way, Vile Necromancer has a YouTube channel. It's got good videos on it. It just doesn't have many videos on it. So check out his channel. And it's like, I know the best little sandwich shop in town. They're never open, but you can eat there a dozen times and then they close. Have I played Star Trek Adventures? I have played I played FASA TNG Star Trek years ago. I mean, like in 1989. Um, but hello, Rumor Gaming. I'm sorry, I was ignoring you. Yeah, if Jack Photon had shown up and been like, "Oh, you said my name 3 times. Here I am," I'd have been like, "Blah." But anyway, I want to check something real quick, guys. I need to look something up here. So coming up soon, actually, is the 5th anniversary of this live stream program. The 5th anniversary. That will actually, the official date is March the 18th, which is on a Tuesday. I'm not doing anything crazy on a Tuesday because nobody will be here to see it. But anyway, yep, we are. So I feel like I should do something. Tarot Destroyer says 7 years ago my parents were eaten by pygmy cannibals and I've never forgotten it. Well, did they share? Final proper equipment to run the channel and free time to do so. Working on a Caverns of Thracia review, and he's started working for an FLGS as a D&D guy. Excellent. You're telling him to buy the reprints off of Drive-Thru and then selling them at a slight markup, right? To get people playing first edition, right? Right? No, dude, that is fantastic good news. Is this some kind of weird bot? A tarot card reader told my cousin to love himself, and now he's banned from Burger King for life. Yay! That's wonderful. That's wonderful, Vile. By the way, I don't want to dox you and blurt your name out. So you and me. You and me. But I want all right. I can't believe I'm putting this in y'all's hands. Do y'all want me to do a 24-hour live stream for the 5th year anniversary? I'm not saying I'm gonna. But do you guys dislike me that much? Let me ask you that. And I have to figure out a power source for my camera. It's a lot. It is a lot. I mean, at my age, you hit 20 hours and I will start hallucinating. Auditory and visual hallucinations will start kicking in. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little scared of what I just asked if you think I should do. "24 hours of AD&D. Al is 24. Hey, Taro, that's pretty gross. Ease it down off of the manhood removal there. I mean, it is funny. Don't get me wrong. It is funny, but you know. Oh, God. Absolutely, yes. I even love to help you out if you need some. Here's the thing: if you were to quote unquote help me, I might not. It'd be like, yeah, Bill, relax for a few minutes. Blank my screen, put the chair back. What happened to Bill? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they were 24 hours, but I mean, at least he could like they could run like 4 acts, and then he could sleep for like 20 minutes. I may do 12. I may split the difference and do 12, but if I do, I definitely want you on, Vile Necromancer. I definitely want you on the show. I will be interviewed. Just like, so Zeus, how do you do it? I actually did do 12. I did 8 for the hurricane we got hit by this last fall. I was scared. I was scared to go to bed. I sat up until the storm stopped. I rode the storm out. That was pretty frightening. Yeah, exactly, Bob. Exactly. Yeah, it's a little different from saying, yeah, I'm going to stay up 12 hours and we're going to do this, that, and the other, and I'm going to stay up 12 hours because I'm afraid that I won't have a house when I wake up, and then I won't wake up. I watched it exactly. See, I think that's a lie, Bob. I think this is a lie. Because I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from another that you'd been messing around. You know, I had a girlfriend named Asia, and I asked her where she got that name, and she said it was just something that her parents gave her in the heat of the moment. I asked her if she'd considered changing it, and she said, "Oh, only time will tell." I can believe it, Vile. I can. Don't boo me, Isha. Hey, I've seen what you people cheer for. Your boos mean nothing. Although, Vile Necromancer, that does remind me that does remind me of one of my favorite bits um, from WKRP. Les grabs something hot off the teletype and says, "This just in from the WKRP News Central Desk. Monster lizard ravages East Coast. This lizard, the worst since 1965, has shut down." And Fever comes in and he cuts off he cuts off Les's mic and says, "Les, monster lizard," and he says, and Les covers up the mic, turns the mic back on, covers it up, and says, "The wire service would never lie, Johnny." And he snatches the teletype printout and said, "It's monster blizzard, Les. The B is out on the teletype." Monster lizard. Oh yeah, WKRP was the best thing in the world, man. You could WKRP and MST3K. Honestly, you need no more television than that. I will relate one um, bittersweet thing. This show I think was on for 3. Yes, that's the one with the turkey drop. Um, and this one has 3 seasons, I think. So uh, KRP was what, 4? But it is much less well regarded, except for one extraordinarily well done scene. and it kind of gets overlooked in the annals of disposable sitcom slop from the 70s and 80s. It was called it was called Carter Country. And it was called Carter Country because, with a wink and a nod, it was set in the same county that Jimmy Carter was from. For those of you who are a little young, Jimmy Carter was president from 1976 to 1980. He was regarded as a poor president. And what's really weird is, a lot of people think, oh, well, of course we ended up, I'm not talking politics, by the way, this is history. A lot of people think, oh, well, of course we wound up with a Democrat as the president because of how terrible the Nixon administration was with the corruption or the public perception of it, whatever it was at the time. But the fact is, the vote was incredibly close. Ford was almost elected for a second term as president after he stepped in for Nixon. But so Carter Country is about a goofy redneck sheriff played by Victor French, and a bunch of other comedic stars. The foil is Victor French, the redneck sheriff, a kind of a spoof on The Heat of the Night, where there's an African-American police officer who comes down. There is a deputy who it is strongly implied is with a hate group in the town, but then they kind of reveal in one episode that he's actually an FBI plant. So like this dumb, racist, redneck police deputy was actually planted there by the FBI. But the episode that I really liked, Victor French was a big, stocky guy. We'd call him a dad bod these days, but he was tall. He was broad-shouldered. The mayor of this little town was, how many of you guys out there have seen Gravity Falls? The little kid on Gravity Falls who's like a televangelist and wears a suit, I can't remember his name all of a sudden. He's basically the miniature version of the mayor that was on Carter Country. In fact, I would be shocked if the inventor of Gravity Falls didn't just do Control-C, Control-V, and then size adjust 70 down to like 30%. So the African-American police officer enjoys setting the sheriff, who is hot-tempered, short-tempered, all around does not like the mayor, and the mayor, who is a shrinking violet and kind of a wimp, setting them against each other. Because the sheriff is physically strong and powerful, the mayor is politically strong and powerful, and he just kind of sets them against each other and gets them yang. So the sheriff comes in an episode, and he is very threatening to the mayor. And so his deputy, the African-American guy, goes to the mayor and says, "You don't have to put up with that." And basically goads him into hauling off and punching the sheriff in the face. That's not played for laughs. Live recorded sitcoms, they will tell people when to laugh, and then they sweeten it with laugh track. They didn't do that. They played it seriously. So you think, sheriff is about to pull himself up and destroy this guy. He doesn't. He looks utterly defeated, and he leaves quickly. Now the deputy his mind is blown. He goes and finds the sheriff, and he's like, "What happened?" And they have this argument back and forth about manliness and that sort of thing. And he says, "When I was a teenager in high school, this person you know, Jim Smith kept hitting on my girlfriend at the dance. And he wouldn't stop. I told him to leave us alone. Well, he was sweet on her, and they had dated and they had broken up. But he just kept nattering me about it and heard about it over and over again. He's like, yeah, and he said, I punched him dead in the face. And the deputy goes, well, it sounds to me like he had it coming. And I'll never forget the line. This had a lot of power for me as a little kid. He said, that punch blinded him. Did he have that coming? And despite all of his, he goes on to explain, despite all of his bluster, he never put his hands on people again in his life. I thought it was a pretty well done scene. Again, not as good as WKRP. Really kind of a forgettable show across the board. Because it was just make fun of Hicks, make fun of Hicks, make fun of Hicks, make fun of Hicks. But it had one really powerful scene in it that I liked a lot. WKRP, on the other hand, was chock full beginning to end with dramedy, heartbreak, all kinds of fun stuff. I really like WKRP. I think if KRP had stayed on the air in its original run, because it actually did two more runs. They had one that came out in the very early 1990s, and I want to say the later 2000s, or it may have been a continuation of the one from the early 90s. Oh, without a doubt, KRP was head and shoulders better than Cheers. Although Frasier, we got Frasier out of Cheers, so that made it good. Yes. All right-thinking men know that Bailey Quarters was the hotter of the female dyad there in the WKRP offices. It was always Bailey. Bailey was always the hotter of the two. Yes, indeed. Anyway, I babbled on about vintage television long enough. No, he's never here. Yeah, that guy's not. I know exactly the scene you're talking about. There was another great dramedy point before I wrap up. Venus didn't, on paper, like the official definition was, Venus went AWOL. He was technically a deserter. He served in Vietnam. He talked about a horrible experience he had in Vietnam. And when he came home, he was supposed to do like 18 more months and then out process. And instead of getting off the freeway in, I think they said it was San Diego, he was supposed to get off the freeway in San Diego and go to the naval base and do there. He said, I just kept on driving. I didn't take that freeway off. And so the reason he kept changing his DJ name and moving town to town had nothing to do with the uncertain nature of working in pop radio. It had everything to do with him trying to stay one step ahead of the law. And when he explains why he did what he did, TV was different back then. We didn't do a lot of, it's like, oh, well, it's a huge story arc where we start something in the beginning of season 1 and then we're resolving it in mid-season 2 and stuff like that over the course of multiple episodes. It is implied that Venus got essentially a bad conduct discharge and confined to base there in Cincinnati for a few months. And then the next episode would have picked up at no specific time later. Gideon, thank you. Vile Necromancer lagging behind. Yes, Gideon on Gravity Falls was like the mayor in Carter Country. It does, Rob. It really does. It does. I liked MASH. MASH was good. All right, that really does need to be it. I do need to wrap up, guys. Tomorrow night we're gonna do some D&D deep dive stuff. Hey, Vile Necromancer, shoot me an email, brother. I have missed you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everyone who was here tonight. We talked about classic TV. We talked about what I'm going to do for the show anniversary, having guests on in the future, what we're going to do tomorrow night. Friday night, we're going to be playing Gamma World. Don't miss our Gamma World live stream. It is a ton of fun. Because we don't just play and then you just kind of sit and watch us in silence. You guys can interact with us in the chat. You can leave, you can leave questions and we'll answer them live. It's a lot of fun. And then we come around on Monday afternoon now, not evenings on Monday anymore. We will start probably at 5:00, possibly 5:30, but no later than 5:30, so we can do a longer show earlier in the day on Mondays, and then we roll on. And hopefully next week Kyle can join us, but he's got his hands full. Yes, Jay, is that dogs playing on that? Right? Yes, it is, Art. Good. But anyway, yes, the likes are free. Thank you, everyone. I love you all. Thank you for being here tonight. It's really great to see you again, Vile. Take care of yourself. Everybody else, take care of yourself too. And you know what? We never heard on WKRP. We never heard the Owl Bear song. And isn't that a shame? Peace. Good night. I love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just